Hi, and welcome to Enchantment of Eternity's Game of Thrones Season 5 prediction video on the first 3 episodes of Season 5, where the titles and a brief synopsis of each episode has been revealed. Spoiler warning, first and foremost, this reveals details on what the first 3 episodes of Season 5 will be like. Also, I'll have to give a spoiler warning for the Song of Ice and Fire books up to A Dance with Dragons, as I do talk a little about things that have occurred in the books that have yet to occur in the show. So if you haven't read the books, you might want to hold off on this video. So I'll jump right into where it seems every day we're getting more and more little tidbits of Season 5, although we have yet to get a second trailer for Season 5. That's just, there's just a little more than a month before Season 5 starts, so I'm starting to wonder if we're going to get a second trailer for Season 5. Last year we got about 5 trailers for Season 4, plus the featurette that explored what would happen in Season 4, and this year the featurette was more about production rather than the story, and we have thus far only gotten 1 trailer, so it does seem like they are being a little more guarded with Season 5. Perhaps some surprises, particularly for non-book readers, that they don't want to give away, but certainly a lot of surprises for book readers as well, probably more so than any previous season. So I'll just cut to the chase and read you the title and synopsis of each episode and give some of my thoughts on how it might play out compared to the books. Episode 1 is called Wars to Come, and the synopsis is: Cersei and Jaime adjust to a world without Tywin, Varys reveals a conspiracy to Tyrion, Dany faces a new threat to her rule, Jon is caught between 2 kings. Now, I find the title Wars to Come kind of interesting. It reminds me kind of Season 4 premiere of Lost, called The Beginning is the End, where that was the halfway point of that series, and it was setting up for the final 3 seasons. So it had the tone is we're over the hump of the series, and we're now starting to go towards the end. So whether or not Game of Thrones goes for 7 or 8 seasons, it does seem like we are at the midpoint of the story. Where we finished the War of the Five Kings, and we'll be setting up for new wars, which indeed I believe is what happened in A Feast for Crows and A Dance with Dragons. The synopsis of the episode tells me it will be a typical season premiere of Game of Thrones that you'd come to expect, where it's all basically just set up dealing with what occurred last season, and starting to set in motion what will happen this season. We'll probably get Tywin's funeral and Cersei obsessing over finding Tyrion like she did in the trailer, and perhaps Cersei asserting her control over the Iron Throne. We'll see Tyrion and Varys scenes from the trailer when they were at Illyrio's house, and of course in Meereen we'll be introduced to the Sons of Harpy. And Jon being caught between 2 kings, of course, refers to Mance Rayder and Stannis. It's going to be a couple of interesting dialogue-heavy scenes setting up Mance being a prisoner and Stannis being at the wall, but not so much is going to happen in this episode. I'm not sure if we'll see any other storylines in this episode, perhaps Sansa and Littlefinger, or maybe even some Reek and Ramsay stuff, but it does seem like they are delaying the Arya storyline, the Brienne storyline, and the Dorne storyline until the next episode. So, episode 2 is called The House of Black and White, and the synopsis is: Arya arrives in Braavos, Pod and Brienne run into trouble on the road, Cersei fears for her daughter's safety in Dorne as Illyria Sands seeks revenge for Oberyn's death, Stannis tempts Jon, and an advisor tempts Dany. So, House of Black and White obviously refers to Arya's storyline in Braavos. I'm not quite sure if her storyline will take front and center in this episode, but I'd say we'd get a significant amount of screen time for her. It will probably come back and forth to her several times. What trouble Pod and Brienne run into on the road is beyond me. I'm sure they're going completely off book for these 2 this year, so I will have no clue what they'll be up to, so it'll be interesting to see. In King's Landing, Cersei obviously gets the snake head we saw in the trailer, and this is probably where she sends Jaime off to Dorne. I say we might get some scenes in Dorne in this episode before Jaime gets there, and we'll probably focus on Ellaria Sand, who I think is going to be a much bigger character in the show than she was in the books. There are some theories that she's going to take on Ariane's storyline from the books. I'm not quite sure about the specifics, but I think she'll definitely take on some of the importance of her character. Stannis tempting Jon, I think, is referring to the offer he made in the books where he offered to legitimize him and make him the Warden of the North. I heard from several people that they thought this might not happen in the show, but I think that it will, judging by this synopsis. Plus, if we're just getting to this in episode 2, then my predictions about Jon Snow's storyline's pacing this year looks pretty good, which was that they wouldn't cover that much of his Dance with Dragons storyline this season, and will leave most of that for season 6. As for what an advisor tempts Dany means, I have no idea. It's probably something off, folks. I'm curious myself. Episode 3 is titled High Sparrow, and the synopsis is in Braavos, Arya sees the many-faced god. In King's Landing, Queen Marjorie enjoys her new husband. Tyrion and Varys walk the long bridge of Volantis. So I find it interesting that the episode is called High Sparrow, but the synopsis doesn't mention him. I must assume that this will be the episode where Cersei meets the High Sparrow, and it says Marjorie enjoys her new husband, so I'm guessing maybe they got married in episode 2. I thought maybe they got married at the beginning of this episode, but then we know from the trailer that the old High Septon presides over their wedding, and he must be dead by this episode if it's about the High Sparrow, but something like that. I'm not sure what Arya sees the many-faced god means. Surely it will be showing her training and adjusting to her new life. I don't think we'll get any of Dorne in this episode, as Jaime would have left for Dorne in the previous episode, so they'll probably give it an episode gap until he arrives in Dorne in episode 4. And if that's correct, that means the majority of the Dorne storyline will take place in the latter half of the season. And Tyrion and Varys gets to Volantis already. Wow, that was rather fast, or at least much quicker than the books. But the travel times to place in the show has always been really off. They've never been consistent with this. As someone like Littlefinger or Locke or Melisandre seem to move at lightning speed, whereas others like Arya and the Hound seem to be going outrageously slow. So I guess it's to be expected that the travel time will be a bit differently. But the fact that they have Varys and Tyrion and Volantis already makes me think that they will accelerate Tyrion and Jorah's arrival in Meereen, and that could happen as early as episode 6, maybe even earlier, meaning Tyrion will be spending pretty much the whole second half of the season in Meereen. But as I suspected, I believe they will be cutting out a lot of Tyrion's storyline from the book. That means Griff and young Griff and Penny, the whole journey down the river, I think that will be cut out. I think it'll go straight from showing Tyrion in Pentos in episode 1 to showing him in Volantis in episode 3, and he won't appear in episode 2, as that will be his travel time. I also think that the big shock ending of this episode will be Tyrion running into Jorah, which will be explored more in the next episode. And the next episode we don't have a synopsis for yet, but it's called The Sons of Harpy. So perhaps a Dany heavy episode, or at the very least she'll be in it. There wasn't any mention of Sansa in Littlefinger or Reek and Ramsay in these synopsis. Perhaps they won't be that important to these episodes, or the storylines are too spoilery to mention. At any rate, I look forward to where they're going to go with this. You do kind of get a feel of the pace of this season from these synopses, Some storylines are moving quicker than I expected, and others slower. Like I had thought they would get in. I thought they would get into Dorne right away, but that seems to be going a bit slower. And I'm not sure when Jon will become Lord Commander. It could be episode 2, where they say Stannis tempts Jon, or they could save it for episode 3, or perhaps episode 3 won't feature Jon at all, and they'll save it for episode 4. We'll just have to see. So that's it for my Game of Thrones video on the synopsis of the first 3 episodes of Season 5. If they ever come out with another trailer for Season 5, I'll be doing a review for that. Plus, several weeks before Season 5 starts, I plan on doing a big video summarizing all my final predictions for Season 5. But once Season 5 starts, I'll be doing normal episode reviews that are open to everyone, not just people who've read the books. And we'll revisit my predictions once Season 5 ends. So make sure you subscribe to keep up with all that, and thanks a lot for watching.